Hello, welcome to this episode of Map Talks. I'm Mats, and this is my co-host Robert.
Hello, people.
Today we're in a Hyundai Kona.
Electric.
Yes. And it's gonna be just a quick kind of first thoughts video.
First of all, we have to thank Brennes for
Yes.
let us.
Thank you to Brennes Auto for letting us borrow this car for a few hours. So if you want a Hyundai or a Nissan or a BMW or a Mazda for that matter, Brennes Auto probably have a car that can cover your needs. And if you want electric cars, they have this, they have the Ioniq. Speaking of Ioniq, mine is on the way. It's on a boat, and I'm still not certain when I'm gonna get it. So that's Hyundai for you, really. So can people stop bashing Tesla for not delivering cars now? Everybody else has the same problem. But it's on the way. So if the boat goes down, I will have my car hopefully within a month, give or take. So let's go quickly through the interior, shall we? Here we have the instruments, and much of it's reminiscent of the Ioniq. I have a interior video from the Ioniq. I haven't uploaded it, and I will wait now until I get my own. What we can see here, go to the, and here you have the HVAC system. I'm looking for a button, but I can't seem to find it. Anyway, go home.
Okay.
And then we have here you have the EV setting, where you have your range and your charge administration systems, and you can see how much eco driving, and here you can see this is new. Here they have learned, because in my car, the Kia Soul, which is sort of the first electric car Hyundai Kia made, this is much simpler. Here you have range with and without climate, and the battery state of charge, and different kind of charging, and the amount of time it will take to charge on those different types of input power. Other than that, it's just standard hair radio buttons and so on. That's your this is your what's it called? Wireless charging pad. Yes. Cup holders. This is clever because you have your heat ventilated seats, your drive mode selector, which goes like this: sport, eco, comfort, and so on. I prefer to put it in sport. You all know that. Heated steering wheel, which is wonderful. It's one of these first world problems, which is when you first have experienced it, you don't want to go back on it. Auto hold, which is kind of hill hold, I think. I haven't experienced it, but thought about trying it. Park sensors, brake, and it's the same thing as the Ioniq has. Touch buttons for the gearbox. Let's rather call it the direction of movement selector, because that's basically what you do. You go forward, you go backwards, or you're stationary. There's no gears to change as such. And all of this is, well, slightly flimsy plastic, but it works, and it's the same here. This is nice. This is padded. This is padded. But you know, it works in a way. And here you have the warning on the side there if a car passes up on the side. The brightness of the illumination in the instrument cluster. Difficult to word that. The head-up display, which is here. It lights up when I drive. Very nice. You can turn it on and off, which means the plate goes down. I don't know why you wouldn't have it on all the time, but there you have it. And your lights here, of course, and the blinkers and his wipers and stuff. And here you see, almost by default, it's on auto, which is what I like. Light sensors are now so good, you can have it on auto all the time. And you have your phone and your multimedia switches here. including the voice assistant. Here you have your cruise distance setting, your speed up and down, resume and mode, and here you can switch through different instruments, what kind of information you want up here. Other than that, it's fairly normal Ionic, which is Hyundai state of instrumentation, which is good. It works. It's nice. Seats. What say you?
I find the seats very good to sit in. They have the right amount of support, so you don't do like this. And when you're driving like I stole it, the cushion is
These are again brand new seats, so they're not sat in like that.
But something I like in this car versus the Soul is that these buttons that you passengers and also the driver use, like this seat heater or seat cooler. In the Soul it's here, so you maybe have to
go forwards like that.
But here you can just sit and do this and
yeah, there's
so
much more much easier to use.
Yeah, it's easy to use. So I like this button.
I also learned from Bjorn yesterday, by the way, that you can adjust it like this, the headrest, which is very nice, I must say. Yes, yes, they extend like this. So that's nice. Other than that, it's the same fare as in my car and many others. I'm sure you have your light switch there, and you have your vanity mirror, and you have your flap here to hold credit cards or charge cards or whatever. Your sunglass holder, interior lights, your rather huge cubby actually. And then just cover this back here quickly. There you have your armrest with cup holders. And as you can see, maybe it's not really that much space in the back. No, it is not. That's a small car after all. Let's just have a quick going around. Oh, you have electric seats as well then. And you can see, you can sleep in this car as well. You can just recline like so.
Good night.
Awfully sorry about the wind. This is a slight sort of sea green blue color. Nice, fairly alright. I think the design is good. It's good. Personally, I think and there you have again, thank you to Brennes Auto. You have the Nero might even be better looking, but it is a good looking car, particularly in the front of it. Very nice. The LED lights, they're all LED lights. They have the charge port in front here. Nicely integrated, you don't really notice it. And you have your there you can see sensor packet together with the radar in front to run the adaptive cruise control, electric mirrors of course, and seats and all that. Let's see here. Space. Oh, you moved your seat now?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh!
And your the door pocket's very small, but you know it's there. It's a nice car if you're not a big family. Here, charge cables, your tethers for the child seats, and it's a subwoofer back here. The sound is actually rather good, and you have on here room for. But I don't really know what. My car, as you all know, has room for the charge cables under here. That seemed to be a Hyundai speciality. No Kia speciality, not Hyundai. I don't know why. But apart from that, you know, it all works. Let's go inside, shall we? Let's see. drive, and off we go. I don't know if it can pick up sound. There is this spaceship-like sound. It's like, yeah, like the Ioniq actually.
Here you have the system.
Speaking of which, that's the same blue colors I've ordered mine in. And it's sprightly too. Have about 200 horsepower, 208 or something, I think, and around 400 newton meters of torque, which in traditional terms is rather V8 kind of power. This is used to be, and I like a good V8, but I almost like this better. Feeling of the steering wheel is a little bit, well, I won't say cheap, but it's noisy. I'm sorry about that, by the way.
Unfortunately, we have some bad asphalt, so it's a little bit noisy.
Yeah.
I feel, but that's because of the asphalt. So yeah.
There we go. Cruise control activated, and it also has this lane keep assist, so you can sort of steer. It's not autopilot, but it does a good job of, if it picks up the road markings good enough, which it tells me in the, let's see if we can adjust this so you can see. No, you don't see what I see. So there, sadly. You can tell me now the speed of the road I'm on, speed limit, and the speed at which I'm just traveling, and also data from the adaptive cruise system. If it can see other cars, if it detects lane markings, if it has the steering assist on, and so on. So I don't have to glance at the instrument binnacle, I can just use the head-up display. I would maybe rather prefer it to be projected upon the window itself, the front windshield, so that I could adjust its placement even better for my line of sight and my height and all that. But as is, it works, and it's there, so you know, can't complain too much. You can always complain, but it's nice, it's nice. The seats are nice and cool, or heated if you want to be heated. I think also I have lumbar support. Yes, I do. Oh, I love that. Can't adjust it up and no, can't. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And you have lower lumbar support as well. I don't know if you...
The seat you can adjust up and down, then you can adjust the back of the seat, and you can forward. Yeah. So I tested it. It was... and it goes very long. Also the back, if you want to adjust the back of the seat, you can almost squeeze it out together.
Oh, what are you doing now?
Hello!
Robert is packing himself in two here, trying to see how far forward he can get the seat back to go.
Free massage.
Yeah. And I have now about 80% state of charge, and I have 347 indicated kilometers, which is nice. That's about what you get out of a Model S 75 on a good day, probably. And this is car at half the cost, less than half, and it's just, yeah. But I've got a different car. The materials are different. It's no have no Alcantara here. It's a much smaller car. It's not that much of cargo space. I just showed you the back. But now, for instance, lying behind this Peugeot, and the car is wandering a little bit to and fro. I'm just resting my hand on the steering wheel now, letting the car handle the speed. 14 kroner and 22 for the petrol there. The diesel, it's just... I'm so glad I don't fill that up anymore.
But that was cheap.
Sheep? Sheep, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, not sheep. Sheep is an animal. Sheep is something else entirely. Ooh.
Yeah. So, because at Circle K, back home in Alvim, the petrol cost 17.07.
The point is that it's expensive. So can Americans who scream, "Oh, it's so expensive right now! Oh my God, fuel is so expensive! Could you please shut up?" It really isn't. I'm sorry, but no, it is not.
As to speak of expensive fuel, I'm curious about how the prices in Turkey has gone up since the plunge of the economic. Because I know when I was there, when we were there in May, it was around 6 liter, like 12 Norwegian kroners, like $1.5. So I'm curious about what the petrol will cost now.
Yeah, you're going back.
Yeah, I'm going back tomorrow, so I'm curious. I will report back.
It goes down to zero, and it probably does. Yes, it's always a slightly disconcerting feeling that you have to trust the car and say, okay, does it actually stop? I know it should do, and it probably will, but you always hit hovering with your foot over the brake and going inside, and it stops and then it takes off again. This doesn't. You have to give it a little prod with the accelerator to make it go forwards in stop and go traffic. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that Tesla is the only car maker that stop and go automatically, completely on its own accord. I'm not entirely certain of Nissan's ProPilot on this. I've driven the new Nissan Leaf. I never got around to test the ProPilot properly. But as you see now, we're just following traffic. No problem at all. I'm paying attention, but I'm not. I know I can trust it because I can see what it can see. And the one fun thing here, just the car. I can see my car, and then I can see that it has detected the car in front of it. Yes, on the instrument cluster here and on the head-up display, and it is coming up as another Kona, or is it a Tucson? Anyway, there's a Hyundai model. And it is not a 308, which has been very strange. I don't have to. I can free up my energy instead of focusing on traffic. I can free up my energy talking to you guys and actually doing my job as a. Right now, as a
car presenter.
Yeah, sort of. One thing I do notice. Which I haven't thought about before. The seat cushion is a slightly too short for my legs. It could have been 10 centimeters or 5 centimeters longer. I haven't noticed that in the sole. I don't know why, or if it is just me. But it's not a big issue. I just noticed it. Maybe because this is a slightly taller car, so you have a slightly different seating position. That said, I don't think. Yes, given the sole it's not a tall car, but you sit up relatively high. I sit higher in this car, but not that much higher, as a matter of fact. Oh God! It really does do a rather good job of what's the word I'm looking for? Keeping you the braking. It's rather blue lights in the back, the coppers. Hello, police. And we're taking off again. It's rather smooth in its workings. It's not like chopping your head off every time it's braking down or accelerating. Rather nice. Yes. So these systems have come a long way since in the beginning they were, I've been told, much more on and off and much more harsh, I guess is the word. That's another place. Something has evidently happened. This is so pleasant. I'm just... I haven't used this kind of adaptive systems on this kind of roads before. And I must admit, it is very pleasant indeed. It's just taking the soul energy out of the driving. I can do other things now. Okay, I have to monitor it, but there's so much more comfortable and pleasant and nice and all that. Oh yes, thank you. I want my Ioniq now. Because the Soul don't have that. The Soul just has stupid cruise control. And you have to go on and off and blah blah blah. No. How do you feel? What do you think?
I think the car acts very well on the road. In the car, when you turn in the roundabouts, it's smooth ride. Smooth ride.
And then you have the cruise control. Then you find it when it goes, it detects things and...
Yeah, I find it very easy to you, or the adaptive now?
No, I haven't used the throttle or the brake at all.
Okay, so maybe a little bit hard, but
I can adjust the setting on the distance. Yeah.
because as you know, lately I've been a little bit.
Yeah, now I have adjusted it to the longer
because
setting.
I feel it's like when you
Classic.
drive the Soul and you push the gas pedal down very much and it I feel get sick, so my head is totally
Now I have put it on. You see the longer distance, following distance. So now it detects the braking even earlier, and it smooths down much more.
Oh no, it was much better.
It was indeed. So that's a top tip for everybody. Maybe if you have children, run the adaptive cruise control on a bit longer following distance, and then it will brake even smoother.
Yeah, so you don't get you get the kids' ice cream in the back of your head.
Yeah, I've been told that's not a very pleasant thing. I haven't tried it myself. The car's gone out of the way and it accelerates. It should accelerate anyway there, yes.
It's strange to not be in Fredrikstad every day.
Yeah, you moved from here now. I haven't been there in a while myself. Ooh, we can go out that way.
Because this is a city with all the roundabouts.
Yeah, well, this whole road is this road with all the roundabouts. As I'm sure you viewers now have detected. Let's get in front of that, shall we?
So now people, this is a part of Fredrikstad where they are supposed to widen the road so it gets better, but things take time.
We're gonna drive around a bit now, and we will collect some more experience with the car, and then we will come back. We'll cut in later, so you don't have to listen to 3 hours of us rambling on.
Yeah, and when I come back, we will also test the
Sound system.
sound system.
Yes.
Bye.